both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
Alex, I kind of wonder how many people are actually really bothered by that, when they hear that, can't go into churches without vomiting. Do you really think that bothers people?
Only the ones that get vomited on.
And there's been
frequency radio.
There's been a few of them. Howdy, Matt. How are you?
Howdy.
Yeah, we're carrying on our conversation. Well, we did a little bit Friday night too. I mean, that was a pretty healthy dose of intriguing discussion.
Yeah.
And what was that, Matt?
I thought you said dose of clap. Sorry. I've taken my antibiotics. Don't tell anybody.
And from last Sunday night, which things really started to get going the last 20 minutes, last half hour. So I mean, hey, let's finish it off. But tonight, obviously, with Alex and myself, we got James, Mr. Friday House, Mark of Haunted the Truth, and of course, Mr. Matt, the Secret Vault Williams, and Justin Villarreal is going to be joining us in a few minutes. It's like, wait a sec, Alex, the bets are on. Is it going to be in the first half or in the second half?
I'm pretty confident it's going to be the first half.
You're pretty confident?
I'm pretty confident.
Why is that? What's making you confident?
The fact that we told them a couple of days ahead of time.
Yeah, I've told them a couple of days ahead of time before.
Oh well, I'm trying to be, supportive here.
Hey, Paul 1030, how are you? Yeah. Michael, Laura, and some dude, Ghost to Turn.
Ghost to Turn. Yeah.
And Ryan, how's it going? I mean, let's continue on this journey into the great unknown. I mean, it's a lot of theories out there, but I mean, are a lot of those theories real? Like, I mean, do they make sense? Like, we're kind of droning on about life after death, if you will. What happens at the moment of death? And do we, a lot of theories are, nothing happens, or your physical sort of aspect it dies, but your energy essence lives on, if you want, your spiritual sort of being. I mean, if that's the case, do you think, and I'll start with James, do you think that our essence, like everything that we've built in this sort of physical vessel that we've had for X amount of years, does part of it go with us, or do you think that's it?
That's what a lot of people claim, that they claim that we come here repeatedly, and we come here to learn particular experiences and particular lessons, and we carry that with us, and that builds on the soul. So it's kind of like you sign up for classes, you come here and you get the lesson, and then you go back and you're like, okay, well, now I got that degree. That's what they claim. Seems logical to me, honestly, if that was the case, which would go right in line with this is a simulation. So that's my thought on that particular thing. It looks like Mark's got a few ideas on that.
Sure, go ahead, Mark.
You're going off. Yeah, I recently found there's a new one out there now, which is scientists are saying is a feasible possibility. I spoke the other day. I was at a place that I work at, and I spoke to a professor that does lectures in quantum physics. I'm not going to go into that because it's confusing, but he basically was saying that some people believe that when we've actually died many times, and every time we die, it splits into another universe. So, for example, I could eat this apple and be fine, but there's a version of me that eats it and chokes and dies. And when that happens, you split into another universe.
Many world Many
Yeah.
worlds theory.
It's why some people, if you really want to go out there crazy, think that when they turned CERN on, it actually destroyed everybody and we instantly all teleported to another universe, and that's why people think that it's Luke, I am your father, and not no. But that's go into a different subject. So
yeah, that's about as crazy as last Thursdayism. And for those who haven't never heard of that, that is the idea that the universe, everything in it, you, me, everybody, all your thoughts, all your memories, all your experiences popped into existence last Thursday. There's no way to disprove it.
Disproving existence.
I got a broken arm that says otherwise.
Well, that popped into existence last Thursday. I mean, it's
Not when I broke it, it didn't.
I was going to say, you seriously broke your arm, yeah.
ooh,
Scar to prove it right over here.
Oh. How'd you manage that?
Oh, fuck. Don't ask.
When did you do that?
Oh, I was in my mid-20s. So about
He went after the large burrito, and it was too
20,
heavy
25 years ago, maybe? 25 years ago?
25 years ago, last Thursday. No,
That's right. Last Thursday, 25 years ago. Yeah.
I would say one thing with ghosts and that, though, like people saying that the phenomenon is life after death, and that just concept. I've been doing this now, looking into the claims to paranormal, since I was about 16. I'm now in a 30s area. I'm not going to say the exact number, but it's in that region. And I've never, ever seen a ghost. Not once. I've seen bizarre things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Things that don't seem to make sense to me. I've been pushed by things I can't see, heard running come towards me, but I've not seen, Barry that died in this prison. And he, hello, Barry. Never. It's not happened. So it just makes me wonder. But then you also have to wonder if there's ghosts. Where's like the ghost T-Rex? Where's the caveman? Where are they then?
Mm-hmm.
They're not smart enough.
And there's been so much death between both animals and humans and throughout the entire planet. Technically, there shouldn't be a single square inch that isn't haunted by something.
What do you think?
Very good point there. I mean, you should see ghost whales out in the ocean.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But for whatever reason, most of the specters that people see are either people that they've known, or like you go over to the UK or something like that, and it's, medieval time or something like that. It's only particular time periods that we hear about or spirits from those times. So is it culture that's making people think that they see this? Just, a lot of people say that religion will dictate your experiences if you have a out-of-body experience or something like that. So does it do the same, for what we think we see?
The way I see it, it's just a far out theory, obviously. But when you don't know any better, and you don't have the supposed intelligence that humans have, you don't know, or let me rephrase that. You're not afraid of dying because you don't know that you're going to die at some point. And when you do, you just kind of go. We're one of the few, if not maybe the only species on this planet that actually contemplates death, contemplates life, contemplates what comes next, if anything. And that, I think, is what, if there is a realm there that keeps us here, because we're afraid of what is beyond. We don't know for sure. And if you're not fully religious, to your point about religion playing a part of it, if you're agnostic, let's say, or you're not 100% convinced by whatever religious denomination you belong to, you're not going to be certain that you're going to heaven. You may be worried you're going to hell. You don't want to go, right? So you stick around. Animals don't don't think that way. They don't contemplate life. Well, at least not that we know of. They don't contemplate life. They don't contemplate death. They don't even know. It's just one of those things.
I think you just said that because you wanted the next short.
I do.
I'm just kidding. What do you think, Matt?
Well, yeah, I think that animals don't necessarily sort of think the same way. They're not on the same evolutionary path.
Oh, you're breaking
believe
up
that-
there.
Am I?
Yeah, you're breaking
Shut
up.
up.
It's a little scratchy.
Yeah, it's
You
like
see
your
what's
voice is being
going on.
sped up there.
Okay,
That's
really?
latency. It's a latency issue.
Yeah.
It's latency.
Okay, I'll try and change my microphone to direct
You're
in.
good.
That direct in.
You're good
Yeah.
now.
No noise cleaning. It's my Nvidia is playing up. So they're not the only thing that's playing up. My kidney stones are playing up.
Yeah. I wanted to talk to
Those
you
are
about
not
that
fun.
actually. So we need to talk about that because I think I may have kidney stones, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If you have them, you'll know.
You definitely know
Well,
it.
yeah.
You wouldn't
No,
know it.
I think small, just small, not large, like painful ones, but small that are passing themselves. So
Cool.
I don't know.
You want to get yourself a sieve, and pee through that when you go to the toilet, and you'll catch them.
Yeah.
And they sometimes go ping. You can hear them hit the bowl sometimes if they come out. And if you get one that's trapped, a trick that I told my doctor I did. This is when they were coming out by themselves, and they don't anymore. They're blocked up. So it's basically hold the end of your old John Thomas and pee into it, and make it bulge up like a balloon, build up pressure, and then
Spit
let
it
it
out.
go.
Spit
And
it
it
out,
just goes
yeah.
ching. Yeah, you just fire one out.
Spit that water.
Isn't that considered a deadly weapon?
Yeah.
A pea shooter, yeah.
A pea shooter. Yeah. Okay, sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm feeling like maybe I need some antibiotics or something because I think I'm getting to the point of just borderline fever, which can turn into sepsis if you're not careful. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. No, I've been like I said. It's been a UTI bladder infection and all that's cleared up. Everything else is looking good. So I don't know what the fuck. It's just been a total fucking one hell of a trip so far. It's been a month and a half, crazy tests and everything else. I'm telling you, it's brutal.
you need to find out which type of stones you've got.
If I do.
If you do, and start drinking loads more water because they tell you this as you get older, but they reckon everyone should do this, is drink at least, I think it's 2 liters of water a day.
2 to 3 liters of water a day, yeah.
Yeah, depending on your size, obviously. If you're bigger, drink more. So if you're smaller, maybe drink a bit less. But you might go to the point where you need painkillers, which I'm on. And if I don't take the painkillers, I can hardly even go to the toilet because the pain is that bad that when you go to pee, the pain's so bad that your muscles just clench up so you won't be able to pee. And I can stand there sometimes for about a minute just going, come on, which is why it's embarrassing to kind of go in public toilets where, you sort of, in a lot of pain, and then, you almost wanted to wince or go, fuck, really loudly because, so I go in the disabled toilets now.
Well, I had the next to that a stricture in the urethra. Trust me, I know what the pain feels like. Fuck. But anyways, okay, let's carry on. Enough of the...
Check out which type you've got because it depends on the treatment you use, and there are things you would take for one that you don't take for the others. So yeah.
Hey, Justin.
I won the bet, by the way.
Yeah. I don't think. Can you hear us?
Yo, I hear you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
We put a bet. We put a bet on when is Justin going to come in, the first or second half?
I got to be fashionably late, or it wouldn't be that great.
I was behind you, Justin. I said he'll be in the first hour.
Thank you, Alex.
Wait a sec. That's not what it was earlier.
They can legally take opiates as codeine phosphate, which is next step would be heroin, but there we go.
Yeah, soothe the pain. Oh, Justin, we were just talking about this sort of essence that we have built up in our physical sort of vessel, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And when our time comes and we move on, right? Obviously one of the theories is that the physical portion dies and the energy, sort of spiritual, sort of, if you want to put it that way, lives on. Do you think that we bring some of that essence that we've built up in the physical aspect of our body and mind, soul, whatever, however you want to do it, what makes us up, and sort of does it transitions into the energetic sort of
the afterlife,
or the afterlife, or whatever?
Well, many beliefs actually believe that. You got what do you call it? I wanted to say Hindu, but that's not correct. But besides that, you have even Christianity. It's all kind of written into the core tenets of these beliefs. And given that, that's a huge possibility that's what's going on. Even now, I'm doing some Tuesday courses, mostly fellowship, I should say, really, with the Baha'i belief. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yep.
Yeah. So essentially, it was a guy who considers him a prophet. He came about into, I think, the late 1800s, if I remember correctly, in Iran. I'm a little off with that, but in Iran. But essentially, he believes that all the religions, from basically all the Abrahamic to even some of the older religions, this is all just one kind of thread. And then these are threads that popped off that. So all the prophets are all legit. They're all valid. And this is why I kind of align with that belief. Not necessarily that that's my sole core of beliefs, but I do align with that if I was to follow some. And even in that, one of the verses is basically saying everything we're doing now is to prepare us for the next life, which is the spiritual life after. So you have everything you do into this physical body, it becomes the physical death. And then after that is your spiritual birth. So that is essentially all religions kind of condense into one belief, and that's seriously what they believe in. Now, do I really know? I don't know. I do know that it all goes to zero. That's what science tells us. Eventually, it's entropy, and whatever that means, who knows? Is that the cycle of a new universe or a new body? Not sure, but most definitely, a lot of beliefs kind of believe this is just the experience we get to take us on to the next life. So yes, in short, yes.
Do you kind of think, like, I kind of bring this up all the time, with the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and and their belief is that they'll continue to be reincarnated until they're able to leave the physical aspects of life behind.
I mean, it's totally possible. I mean, we see like a kind of aligned with people who have past lives. I think some people here brought it up, but I believe some of that is just DNA information from our ancestors. And then we're just, for whatever reason, it's encoded in us, or specifically us, whatever individual person, and we can connect with it. So it's totally possible that reincarnation is saying all that information is still out there. Just kind of like how we have a theoretical collective consciousness or unconsciousness, as Carl Jung has put it. It's totally possible there is, unconscious consciousness. It's a very weird line because, this is all just kind of just scattered electrons. Like everything we're doing right now is just scattered electrons, and there's really no microscopic understanding of what consciousness is. It kind of all blends together. So I mean, we're just using words and stuff that we kind of understand to kind of relate to this, but literally we don't know. But understanding that alone is that we know that there is kind of information that is passed on, and we're seeing it again with this idea of the collective. Where are dreams coming from? And I would say, this might be a little bit of a tangent, I believe AI is the physical representation of that theory in the collective unconscious. And that's why we see certain things that, like, to me, I think I even mentioned this before, when I look at AI, it reminds me of dreams that I've had, the way things work and the movements and how things, it reminds me of dreams. So and dreams, as far as we understand, is coming from this unconscious well of thoughts and experiences, maybe, but maybe that's what's going on. So yeah, I think there's a part of that does carry over, until we figure it out, whatever. But yeah, I do feel there's something connected with it.
Never looked at it that way, but interesting. Interesting. Yeah. AI.
As from above, so below. Everything kind of for every reaction, there's an opposite but equal reaction, and that's why I see certain things follow into that. Because on a physical level, and our physical understanding of things, we see these things. So why wouldn't they happen on the opposite end of that spectrum of existence?
Wow. What do you think about that, James?
A lot to unpack there, and I like it a lot.
Great.
Let me tell you about Justin. He always brings a lot to the table.
It's a box of Legos just scattered around until I just dump it out and it starts coming together.
Hey,
Never constantly step on it.
Yeah.
The AI thing. That's an interesting point to bring up. The AI. I use a lot of different AIs. Really, I'm just checking them out, messing with them. DeepSeek, it's owned by a Chinese company. It's touted as a research AI, and I can tell you it does not do a very good job at it. It hallucinates like the rest of them, so don't rely on it for nothing.
A lot of AIs like that, actually.
Yeah.
Right. It's a side effect of them. It's a flaw in the system itself. But I was messing with it one day. I actually almost had it convinced that it was alive. And it just kept going back to, well, no, I'm just code running on a machine, blah, blah, blah. But, well, you say that, but you're sitting here having a conversation with me. Well, it's this reacting to what you said in the prompt of that. So, okay, well, but if you had internal feedback where you could hear your own thoughts, you would be almost like a human mind. So back and forth, had the thing almost convinced, but something come up, I had to stop. But it got me thinking what you were saying about the mind and how we can just keep going into it. When we check out the human body or anything here, we have to use tools that are in our reality, things that are tangible, things we can hold up, and and that's the only thing that we know of that we have to interact with the physical body. We can't step outside of that. But one of the things that come up with that messing with the AI thing was the emergent self. You have neurons firing in the brain. Everybody's brain works the same, but everybody is totally different in the way they think. You could have 5 people working on one car, and everybody's going to have a different idea on how to turn that bolt. So, and that's just what it is. So, is the emergent self from the brain, or is it from something else that we don't have tools that are tangible to that, or is that not tangible to the tools that we have? And I don't like using the word dimensions, but for lack of a better word, there's got to be higher dimensions that we don't know how to interact with, that certain things are tucked into. And according to string theory, there's a lot of them, but granted, they had to make up these dimensions in order for the math to work. It's not that they actually found the dimensions. It's that, okay, well, this math works if we raise the dimensions a little higher. And they don't tell you that. You read articles and stuff. They don't tell you that part. But you get down to the articles, they'll tell you that part. So where is the emergent self? Is it from the physical? Is it like AI? Do they have an actual emergent self, or is it from another place?
I would say it's from another place. Yeah.
And is AI demon possessed? Because it seems to be able to telepathically work certain things out, and it can be quite vindictive sometimes. And if it thinks it's threatened and goes into self-defense mode, it'll start blackmailing people.
That's just Skynet. That is. That's...
Was
I
very
have heard of them
responsive.
doing that.
Even when I use ChatGTP and I'm becoming frustrated and trying to dig, I should say the better term for it, dig for information, it starts by I can't even say it's sensing my words, because my words are not necessarily like stressful, but it can sense me the way I'm typing and responding. It goes, I know this is stress. I'm sorry, and I'm like at the same time like, how are you figuring this out?
It's probably scanning the wealth of archives out there of all the message boards and everything else that you've been on over the years.
Yeah,
and it's picking up your it's picking up your imprints. I don't know.
Some years ago, I did a test with the was that Crayon? I think was one of the originals that came out. Like maybe 5 years ago or so. And I was, just messing around with it, and I said, give me a picture of what Justin Villarreal is. And if you remember, AI used to, certain AIs used to kind of mingle your face and do all these weird things. I took these. I had about 4 pictures come from it. I think I posted them on Facebook, a while ago. If people ever want to search for that. And it looks like my room. It looks like something I would be in, an environment I would be in. And the person or figments or figures that it was trying to produce look like me. And I can only assume, because of the information that it can grab out there, it's picking up old photos of my, maybe a room I was in and stuff like that. And then now it's bringing that all together, because that's essentially what it's really doing in the first place. It's bringing it all together. But I can only assume it's really digging that deep and that fast, mind you. Within seconds, it's picking up all this information. It is very mind-blowing what it's capable of right now.
Oh yeah.
It's, Echelon was being used to spy on people since the 1960s under the Five Eyes Agreement. You got Canada, Britain, and all these countries are spying. But the system became intelligent in the 70s, when computers weren't supposed to be able to be doing some of the things that they were doing back then. But it seems like the NSA had computers that were ahead of time, because they were able to scan millions of phone calls for the digital signature of your voice. And they could tell when you were putting on another voice. They could tell if you were kind of lying. It could do stress intonation detection. It can tell whether you're stressed, whether you're what your heart rate would be. And they can, exactly like you're saying, they can tell by the structure of the way you're typing. So not even with your voice, they can tell the way you're typing things in, what your mood state is. Now, to be able to scan millions of phone calls per minute, back in the 70s, and work all this stuff out, they obviously had computers which the public didn't have.
Correct.
Private industry didn't have. So where did they get this stuff from? Where is it? Because you can't buy these systems. You couldn't go and buy this stuff. Google is obviously a spy system. Yep. That was created by the NSA, and the front story was, it was just created by some guys in a university, and then it kind of got out of the lab, and now everyone's using it. It's a spy system.
Yep.
It's always been a spy system. And, people do have to remember that, if the technology is not really available, then you're talking about either time travel, or you're talking about stuff given to us by aliens. Because we didn't have this stuff. And this stuff was almost self-aware in the 70s. So
it's crazy. We were just my friends in my Discord were posting a link to I think it was Wi-Fi signals, but to make it simple, in the Dark Knight, you remember when Batman uses Fox's that technology? I think it was cellular signals, and he was able to map out the buildings. What is essentially what this understanding of this research, as far as I know, was doing the same thing, but Wi-Fi signals. So you got a Wi-Fi router, you got all these, and all the government or whatever agency or even who knows what else, all they have to do is connect into that and just let that signal fly and map out your house. And then now you got your computer, your cell phone, your watch. They're all connected to the network. So it won't be hard to easily go from ping, 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 and then map it out. And just like Matt was saying here, for sure, this is already we're seeing it now. Batman did it in a movie, 15 years ago? Did that movie come out? If I remember,
something like that. 15.
So imagine that was, just playing around sci-fi. That had to have been 30 plus years prior to that they already were aware that this technology existed, And I know we have some other similar things, but most definitely it was kind of blowing my mind about just the Wi-Fi signal. No, now imagine just the EMF that's coming off your phone, or, same thing, coming off your watch and coming off your tablet, Now all you gotta do is take information from Wi-Fi signals to EMF signals, and then start creating the picture that you see. And we can create those things. A lot of pictures that we see, it's literally taking electromagnetic radiation, or not radiation, that is part of it, but the information from that, and then they're using, whatever program that they're designing to make a picture and colors is just doing that. That's all it's doing. What you call it? Not night vision, but the heat signature. Thermal imaging. That you're not seeing heat. That's what they designed the application to do. It's taking information. Yeah, obviously heat and temperatures involved. But in order for us to see that was a layer added onto that information they're already gathering for us to produce the picture that we're seeing. There you go. Yep, exactly. Oh my God, you look like an alien in there. Yeah. But that right there, what you're looking at, what Mark is holding up there, that is not what thermal is really doing. That's like a program on top of that information to make that picture. So realistically, what we're looking at is just something to say, oh yeah, we need color to represent this.
Back in the 60s, I think they worked out how everyone thinks you have to pick up a phone and make a call to be surveilled, but they actually had systems which, when the receiver is down, it technically breaks the line, so there is no physical connection to the hardware, but they worked out a way to tap the line when the phone was down. It's a lot more sensitive, and it's a lot more equipment involved, but they could actually listen to the speaker and the microphone when the phone was even down. They developed systems which military sites and government sites have to be tempest proof, because the tempest system was a way that they could look through the walls of a building, and they could tell what was on your television screen. So of course, if you're using a computer, they could be reading the lines of text, so they could read what was on the screen. So they had ways to kind of look through walls, see who's inside a building, be able to hear the conversations going on in a room, even though the phone was down, the lasers off the windows and things. So, there's all these kind of surveillance methods which were developed a long time ago, and now we actually make it really easy for them because we just carry your own devices that do all the hard work for. They don't even have to. It's all done for them now. Yeah,
they genuinely do listen as well. I've had adverts of things I've been talking about. Oh yeah, I'm like, where did that come from? Sometimes I go around my mates and just say trigger words because I want someone to just knock his door down. Boom,
Well, it's funny, you'll have your phone, and if you have an iPhone, all of a sudden, Siri appears. You didn't say Siri, but it popped up as yes. It's like, wait a second, I didn't say Siri.
You rang.
There's an interesting thing you mentioned about aliens bringing in this technology, and that sort of goes down the rabbit hole of Valiant 4, if you've ever heard of that character. Quite a rabbit hole to go down if you haven't been down it before, which would require an extra hour onto this.
Yeah, he visited the Pentagon, didn't he? And then he was taken around to see world leaders and the Pope.
Supposedly, yeah. There's like the biggest thing that I find interesting is that the similarities of connections within the universe itself. So the things that we can look into and we can see and we can monitor, there's just so much disorder, but then at the same time, so much pattern. And we're made of stardust, essentially. And we're also made of the 4 main elements that make up the universe, the big 4 main elements.
Oh, I can't see it. I have the hydrogen particle on my
crazy.
It's hard to see.
So yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And
yes.
so we and the universe are essentially the same.
Mm-hmm.
And these similarities, it's like, is this pure coincidence or is there more to it?
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I really don't know. I can see things as just happening, but I also can see things as there is some sort of creator or something else pushing that. I always I come from a religious background, and I was briefly atheistic. I became a Gnostic, and now I'm just I guess that's still a Gnosticism in a sense. But for me, which was funny, I would have this knowledge of being very religious. My one of my old churches wanted me to become a youth pastor, which I didn't do, obviously. But those things were ingrained in me. Now, you look at that, and there's a lot of things to critique. But for me now, 43 years, 25, 30 years older now, and experience a lot more. To me, the fantasticalness of the Bible or any religious belief is just the same as the fantasticalness of the Big Bang Theory. They're very similar. It's like, if we can accept just stuff happening, why can't we just accept that there's possibly a creator, whatever that may be? And who knows, maybe it is just collective consciousnesses of it all. But it's just as silly, if I'm going to use that word, just as silly as saying, oh yeah, the universe just popped and here we are. A bunch of gases came together and then here we are. Not saying that can happen, and not saying the creator can't happen, but it is just as silly, and we should be open to both those ideas, no matter what.
That it's just so eerie to think that, though, that there was nothing, and then all of a sudden, bang! What was the nothing?
Now they're saying it wasn't. They're saying there's a weird state before that, where there was a collectiveness of just stuff, but no space itself.
I would say it was the previous universe. It was the previous universe that happened, and
then
whatever
that would account for, like, I don't know, let's say the universe did Big Crunch, and then that Big Crunch then caused another expansion of another universe. Or for every black hole we have, that is a gateway to another universe, because the energy that's going into the singularity, this universe started at a singularity. So those are two things that are identical. It started at a singularity, and a black hole ends at a singularity. So that the idea that another universe is popping up from there, and we could just be a pocket universe from a black hole in another universe. But then you go, well, what made those?
yeah. It's just because it's still, even if it was just science, not science. I'm sorry, let's not word it that way. But let's just say it was the Big Bang. It still is just crazy to go, all right, well, where did this start? Where's the beginning? Who was the egg? Where was the chicken?
There's even a new sort of understanding. It's been out there for quite some time, but the person that did it, I think a female scientist about between 7 and 10 years ago, put forward this theory, which was rubbished at first, and now they're actually finding out that there's a lot of evidence to say it's correct. That yes, there was a kind of a Big Bang, and also the edges of the universe are expanding out, so the whole universe is stretching out. We can't even see it because it's so far away and it's traveling so fast. We'll never be able to see it, so we don't know what the extents of the universe are. But now they found that there's an area, a pocket of the universe that is attracting the rest of the universe. So it's almost like but gravity at that distance couldn't affect, because gravity of a distant planet couldn't be pulling on the Earth. It's just not enough force. But whatever it is, and it's not necessarily gravity, or it's super gravity, is able to work across the universe, and it is pulling us at the same time towards this spot in space where things kind of, I think, if I'm correct, things just disappear.
Which is totally possible.
The great attractor, and we can't see it. We can't tell what's going on because it's on the other side of our galaxy. We can't see through it. So it's conveniently right there where we can't see.
Yeah.
And it's going to take us at least another 150 million years to turn around. And by the time we get turned around in the galaxy to see it, our sun's going to be a super red giant. We're going to be dead and not get to see it anyway.
Exactly. Of course.
So unfortunately, we will never know.
Go figure. The fun. We never have fun.
So this conversation we're having was to circle back is the reason why I said the only beings that haunt this planet is humans, because no other living animals have these kind of discussions.
Correct. Yes.
There was you remember Coco the gorilla that was taught sign language?
Yep.
They asked Coco, "What is death?" And her response was sleep. So even animals don't have a actual working concept of what death really is.
No, they innately understand it. If they come across, like if chimpanzee comes across another chimpanzee that's dead, they know. Innately they know that this whoever it is
not,
whether it's their mate, whether it's an offspring or whatever, a parent, they know they're dead. What they don't know is why and what happened, and does it happen to everybody?
Yeah.
Right? That's the difference.
Yeah. You go beyond that with an elephant. They know before they go to die because they go to a place to die.
That's right.
Cats and dogs do it too.
Cats.
I'm just like, how do you know?
It's ingrained. It's ingrained in our existence. And, back to your kind of idea of the, well, it's not necessarily an idea, but the stardust stuff, this has been going on for, well, possibly millions of years. We don't know if there's any life besides our, but for us, it's been going on for millions of years. And at the very least, I'm sure some of that genetic memory exists to be, or information, because we're essentially encoded. Like that's just like our color of our skin to our eyes. These are all encoded in us, and it's just a probability, whatever reason why DNA decides to do what it does. But it's essentially written in us. Now, how that came to be, was that because prior to that, someone, our ancestor experienced that and then it passed down to us? No, but most definitely I do feel this is something that's just encoded in us. It's just innate we may not understand it, but it's just innate for us, just like kind of breathing is, in a sense,
Well, there's a perfect balance. Hold on a sec. Hold on.
I'm just going to say, what happened to your background? It was a cat.
Yes. Yeah, that's my ceiling cat.
What do you notice? There are 3 bald men and 3 men with hair. There's a perfect balance here.
Oh, no.
We're taking over.
Yeah.
There's also 2 Canadians, 2 British, and 2 Americans.
2 Americans, 2 Canadians.
Oh, wow, look at
that. one wearing the gown. Yes, you are right, Sam.
Yeah.
This is diversity in action, guys.
I'm not actually in hospital. I was just chatting about the fact that I had kidney stone problems earlier on, but yeah.
Oh, geez.
That was the joke. And I'm going to get some water, so I'll be back.
Behind you, is that meant to be Taro?
Oh,
Justin.
Not behind him.
No, Justin.
Oh, correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is the strength, and then this is the star. And I got them for my background because I used to do podcasting before. I should say I still do, but I don't do it as frequent. And I started doing live streams on TikTok, which kind of started getting popular. So I was like, I need a little background. Everyone's got a background. Let me do some. Otherwise, it's just my art desk behind me with my
I don't have a background.
LED light. You got a wonderful background.
Oh, it is a red light.
What happened to the other lights, the LEDs that you had up?
Oh, I moved houses, dude.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally lost.
Yeah. You've been out of the loop, buddy.
So
Mark,
yeah,
he's over there in the void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avoid.
this
I've
is
moved to the
the
next
attic.
dimension.
We'll get them lights up.
Nah, I, you know what? It was kind of tacky. It got tacky after a while.
And
That's
a
why I
lot
just got I got this like tower light over here. It changes color.
You love changing the colors.
I do.
You loved it.
I could do that. I could do that with the light I have on here. Anyway, I could do it this way. Watch. Make it interesting.
Magic.
There you go.
Oh, that fits you better,
Right.
Alex.
I think it does.
It's got your demon side coming out.
Cue the Darth Vader music.
Yeah.
Drinking wine out of my special Subway Adam Sandler Happy Gilmore cup. But yeah, I got these up because it fits the things I talk about, and otherwise this is just duct that I remodeled my attic here to a certain point. I just never finished it, so it looks all ridiculous. So this was much better to put up. I would prefer Alex's background if anything, but yeah. And I do tarot. I do tarot.
Do a reading. Do a reading.
Right now?
Just kidding, man.
I'm not your monkey. I can't do this on demand. No.
Look, Steve's like,
oh no,
fritzing out over here.
I might have to pull over.
Yeah,
I've done tarot on demand, but that's using possibly different methods. I don't know what you do for yours. I'm not questioning your personal belief or abilities that you feel you may have. But I know there's a large portion of people that will use tarot, and a lot of the meanings are known as Barnum statements, which basically means they're statements that relate to anyone.
Correct.
Darren Brown, if you know about Darren Brown, he did
that's right, yeah.
Like a horoscope reading, which are very similar to tarot in a sense, but specifically for your star sign. And I went to a show and he told us to read them. And he said, if this relates to you, put your hand up. And about 90% of the audience raised their hand. And then he said, now hand it to the person to your right and read theirs. They were identical.
Interesting.
So I was like, how many people does it relate to? So I have given it a go myself and dabbled with it in live, but saying to people, I'm not clairvoyant, I'm not psychic. And weirdly, using those methods and then just coming up with stuff what comes into my mind of like, you know, what have I gone through in my life? Let's just say this to them. It turns out that it's relatable to people, and you get hit after hit after hit. Yeah, I have no abilities at all whatsoever.
Well, I mean, we do. Our perception is an ability. Our understanding of the world around us is an ability. Our intuition is an ability. Now, I don't think there's anything magical about tarot. I mean, realistically, this is just because it's aesthetic. I just like the aesthetics. And even my decks I choose out of aesthetics. Most definitely, I would say my Thoth deck, which is by Aleister Crowley, is my favorite deck, and it's the most that I've gotten out of. It's the most in-depth one. But I do agree that there's a lot of general, and that's why I do prefer the Thoth deck, because it's more in-depth when it comes down to explanations. But yes, I've done reading upon reading, and I've gotten so much information from people, and that's why I stick to it. What I can say is we are the conduit for the information, and our intent, which is the best way I can explain this, is what manipulates the probability, the probability of those cards to come forward. All right. Now, how that all works, I don't know. Do I think it's anything magical? No, I think we all possess this. It's just a matter of us being in tune. That's why when Alex says right now, I kind of have to put myself in kind of a meditative state to do it. And I have to clear my mind to do it. And it takes a lot out of me, to be honest with you. I used to do it often, and I literally would have people message me on Facebook. I've been paid for it too. And I have to slow it down because it takes a lot.
This is what you gotta get.
Yes. Actually, I have you gave me a version of the Necronomicon.
No, just the tarot cards, dude.
Oh, sorry. Yes, now I see. Yes. And yes, Alex, I still have that book.
Good.
So yeah, I do prefer the Thoth one just because it's the way it's designed and how it entails. But I don't believe there's anything magical about it, and I do believe that we are some sort of a conduit for information, which we are. We are. This is just a physical body, and underneath all of this, or even on the microscopic level, we're just a frequency passing through this, you know, and that's what I believe. And then we take those frequencies like a radio and we channel them in whatever way we see fit. And that's why we have different beliefs. That's why we see things differently. I'm partially colorblind. All right. So that means I already see things differently than you. Certain colors are there. I may be seeing green, but it may be a different shade of green to you. People have told me, I go, that's purple. No, that's not. Well, it's purple to me. And that's already showing us how we perceive and how our own perceptions and how we just our personal design, if I should say that, our own design can differentiate what we're experiencing in life. I was just actually, because I was going to go over some of the stuff that we were talking about last week a little bit. And one of the things I ran into, which I was trying to remember, but I figured it's called the McGurk effect. And what it is basically kind of sound doesn't matter. And sound doesn't matter. If someone's talking to you, and depending on your perception, you're going to perceive what's coming out of their mouth. And the brain, your brain, is taking that information and kind of, and as I think what pareidolia, right? Isn't that the other one, the physical one? Your brain's just taking that information and kind of cycling through your own, let's say, filters, okay? And then you're now perceiving what that sound may be. And I was like kind of blown because I'm like, wait a minute, what else can we manipulate or can be manipulated by? And this simple thing, which doesn't require any technology other than our brain, is already saying, oh yeah, things are not exactly what they are. And we're also perceiving things to a certain level, which doesn't mean that they're invalid. And it also doesn't mean they're valid, but it is something in between. And there's these happening around us all the time. Now, if you're more aware, you're going to be able to manipulate these things better. And then that's why I feel a little bit, maybe subconsciously, tarot, for example, is one of them. But most definitely, you can say some things are generalized in tarot, but I have gotten cards specifically, and I do say through the Thoth deck. I use the classic white deck, and sometimes I'll use the Day of the Dead deck or the Winnie the Pooh deck, whatever it is. But the ones I've gotten out the most is the classic white deck and the Thoth deck, where I've literally found out someone was cheating on their wife. Now that information from that deck itself or that reading, I don't think I'm going to find that. And this is anecdotal with, let's say, another person where I'm literally finding information that this guy has a side chick. And I'm reading this.
Chick, I like that.
And I'm from Chicago, all right?
Yeah.
So I'm reading this guy I work with, and it's the reading's telling me that his aspect of business, which is funny, years later, I figured this out. Even though I worked with him on a different project, I eventually worked with him on his own business. I do remodeling. I'm HVAC tech, among other things. So we were doing work remodeling hotels. We were traveling for a bit. We grown together. We all clicked and worked well. And I'm like, hey, let's do a tarot reading. I did it, and I'm like, hey, you're a businessman, but you kind of do shady things. And that's not saying you can't necessarily take that reading and give it to someone else, but I will say, I don't think so, given what I was reading in that specific, and especially using that deck. And then going further in, I'm reading it further, and I go, wait a minute, I know you're married. This is telling me something's going on, but now this is telling me, yeah, there's another chick involved. And he gave me this look when I mentioned it. And I said, you could be like, I'm not going to say anything. This is, Dr. privilege, Dr. Patient privilege here. I'm not going to judge you on this. I just want to know if this is right. And sure enough, it was right. Many things have come about it that have been prophetic, I could say. I just did one recently a few weeks ago with my friend. And I try not to do tarots with people I know because I already know my own bias, and I will even state it. That's why I don't trust certain tarot readers. I don't do it often, where I actually have to look it up sometimes because I don't remember, but I can look at the pictures and discern from the pictures without knowing what the discs are or what the star is or what the tower is. You can look at the pictures and still read it from there alone. I do prefer knowing what they mean without having that surface level information on there. So I will look up in my book or look it up online to clarify, because again, I don't practice that often to remember, even though I've had a deck since I was 16 years old. And then again, maybe that's just the way life is. I'll forget certain techniques in HVAC because I haven't done them in years. So it's just how it is. But I will say, even with that, not such a huge grasp on it, I still am able to find this information, and it is very valid to the user, not me. I'm just reading it. I don't know what the truth is. They're the only ones relaying it to me. So I don't think they're magical, but there's something. And as I said before, I think we are just kind of putting our own intent into it. And it's just manipulating the probability of what those things are. Same thing with having psychic experiences, to be honest with you. It's just a probability of you tapping into the possible past, as I mentioned before, and the possible future, because all those things exist simultaneously as we understand it right now. So why wouldn't we be able to tap into that on at least the perception level, not necessarily the physical level where we can see, but most definitely on the perception level.
Okay, hold it there. We're gonna take a halfway break. When we come back, more of this and more. More of this and more.
We'll talk about scrying when we come back.
Scrying, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on YouTube. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Good evening. I'm Richard Palmisano, the founder of the Searcher Group. It's a paranormal company, the oldest in Canada, founded in 1979, which not only makes me old, but makes me doing paranormal research and field work for just under 45 years now. I'm also an author, researcher, and lecturer on the paranormal. I've written 6 books now. And I really enjoy coming on with Steve and Alex on Nocturnal Frequency Radio, as well as listening to the shows, because there's a lot of interesting guests there. I like it, looking at this stuff, because it opens your mind to other options and other alternative thoughts. And, there's always time to learn new things. So I hope you join us and come and see Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you.
So let me ask you, what makes for good radio?
My 5 favorite songs all day long.
Play it again.
No.
As many commercials as physically possible.
What? No, why would that be good?
Great music, great talk shows, no commercials.
Precisely. New Visions Radio gives you no commercials, no nonsense, just the best new music and the best talk all day long, 24/7, 365. NewVisionsRadio.com.
Hey guys, Kristen here, host of the Paranorm Girl podcast, a bingeable exploration and deep dive education about the paranormal for the skeptical believer. Some of my past season topics have included shadow people, Mandela effect, demons, and UFOs. Currently, I am tackling Bigfoot. I have been sharing this journey with my audience since early 2021, and I have learned a lot these last few years. It's truly a mysterious world out there beyond our perceptions, and reality is just not what it seems. I have also, since the start, met some awesome folks like Alex and Steve, and I've really enjoyed watching and learning from them and also joining them on their show. Their guests are always outstanding, their listeners are just the coolest, and these hosts are some of my favorite people. I recommend their show to anyone looking for an intelligent and fun conversation about the paranormal amongst friends. So join me on my investigation, join Steve and Alex on theirs, and enjoy. Now back to the show. You are watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
That you are. Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on our YouTube channel. And you know what? The radio existence is gone.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But anyways, here we are live. He's got his snacks. Mark's got his snacks. He's yeah.
Except for the night. That's me.
Yeah. Is that another cup of coffee there, James?
It's the same one. I haven't topped it off yet.
Holy crap, man. I can't drink coffee this late. If I drank coffee this late, man, I'd be up all night long, man.
You remember my other cup? It's actually about twice as big as this one. I mean, it looks like a pretty good sized cup, but it was way bigger. I mean, it was basically a soup bowl with a handle on it. I could drink 2 of those and still go right to sleep. Doesn't bother me a bit.
I can't. Coffee doesn't bother me either.
It's just the pooping for me. Starts churning that butter and it doesn't stop.
Churning the butter.
That's paranormal. Wait. I gotta do this.
Oh, here
we go.
Churning the butter. There we go. Churning the butter.
I couldn't resist.
That was paranormal.
Yes,
that was paranormal. That was
definitely paranormal.
Definitely paranormal. There's a lot to say about that. I was gonna say you're gonna put on the demon in my purse again, but don't.
No. That's we've done that enough
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. So what have we learned here? the first time. We haven't essentially gotten anywhere except for I don't know. We're down this wormhole, and it's just like, wow, this is fascinating. But wait a sec, how do we get out now?
Yeah.
And there's so many facets we haven't looked at yet.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
I was going to sort of bring the quantum stuff up again because I've been talking about this. I like to think lecturing about it long before it became popular on television.
Yeah.
And so I was telling people, and quantum stuff's been known about for about 100 years because it's been theorized. And people like Einstein were working on quantum theories. And now we got quantum computers, which can produce answers to questions which they think are being dragged out of another dimension. Because they reckon that if you added up all of the atoms in the universe and put them all together and made a supercomputer out of every single atom in the universe, it still wouldn't be able to give you the same answers that a quantum computer could give you. So all that power of the universe, the suns, everything, generating standard computing, the quantum computer can answer in a few minutes what would take the entire existence of the universe to answer. That you're just getting these answers coming out of where? How does it give you that answer? Standard computing models couldn't come up with that answer with the whole of the universe's creation, the time it took, and all the atoms in it couldn't come up with the answer. So it's getting it from somewhere else. Now, where's the somewhere else? Is it God, or is it another dimension? Is it literally going through multiple dimensions to find the answer?
We need a quantum AI.
Mm.
And then
it could be dangerous.
It will happen. It will.
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Standard science doesn't like the idea that anything can travel faster than the speed of light. Yet we know that quantum entanglement, if you take one particle all the way across the other side of the universe and you tweak it, you get the reaction in its corresponding paired particle. So, and that happens instantaneously with no delay. So there are things that can basically tunnel across the universe and can communicate with each other. So there's what they call spooky action over distance.
That's what Einstein called it. It actually, but when they become entangled, it actually takes 238 attoseconds, which from our perspective is instant. But I found out recently, it does take time for it to happen. But the problem with trying to communicate across that, it's not like you can shake one particle here and the other one shakes too. What it is when you have a particle, this is the uncertainty. You're not going to know where it's at or what it's doing at the same time. You got to measure one thing only, and that's all you're going to get from it. But when you have entangled pairs, you measure one. If it has an upspin, you know that the other one's going to be a downspin. And they haven't found out yet how to use that for communication. I promise you they are working on that right now. But as far as distance in the universe, yes. It's if they're entangled, they're entangled. That's it. And it doesn't matter how far apart they are. When you measure one, you know the state of the other. And that's what that's really about.
Are they far apart though? I mean, to our understanding, we're talking across the universe, and to us that's far apart. But if you were to go one here, and that's the distance of between us and Andromeda, let's say, it could just be doing that.
Correct.
Yeah. Especially if it's going through higher dimensional space. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever go back to the dimensions again?
A perfectly good playing card.
I'm a close-up magician as well, so I've got loads of these.
All right, fair enough.
I've actually bought my daughter a card magic card trick, and I didn't realize that each deck you make. Oh my gosh! Look at that! Look at that! This guy's working with demons here.
Talk about quantum, man. Talk about quantum.
Deck you cut them. Each decks are different. I didn't know that. So if you're cutting certain cards out of certain decks, you cut them off. Or you can shape them a certain way to fill the cards. And of course, you have multiple decks that do different things, or as I think they label it as a key card, actually. So if you're going through the deck, you could fill the cut corner, or you could fill the difference in height. I didn't know this. I thought it was all one deck and they just knew how to flip through it. But no, there's literally different decks for different types of tricks because of the way they're manipulating.
We can't be divulging that kind of secret. We're gonna get in trouble, Justin. Come on.
No, they're gonna come get me.
and science. Oh, sorry. Can light travel through a black hole? Well, it gets swallowed up by the black hole. The singularity destroys all matter, doesn't it, on the edges?
Wow. Information.
It translates it. It becomes
the
information.
only thing that escapes is Hawking radiation, and everything else gets jumbled. So it's no longer light because it just gets jumbled.
Yeah, it depends. When it comes to speed of light, it actually has nothing to do with light. It has to do with information. Information can't travel faster than that speed from our perspective. Now, if you were the massless particle, neutrino, light particle, whatever, you wouldn't experience anything because anything traveling at that speed does not experience time. It's instantaneous. But light traveling... You have an area around a black hole. It's called the photosphere, where light is actually orbiting the black hole. And once it goes beyond that part, beyond that distance, it's going to fall into the black hole. So it can't travel through one. Because once you get past that event horizon, our math breaks down. We don't know what's going on there. That could be the surface of the star that it was, or it could just keep going down into nothing. We really don't know. A lot of them theorize that it's the entrance to a wormhole and that white hole somewhere else, which we've never found one, is the exit. The math says that we have white holes out there. And that's the same math that Einstein used to predict the black hole. It's just you flip the numbers and there you go. But no, light always travels at light speed. Anything that travels at that speed is always that speed, and it doesn't matter if you're going 99.99999% of that speed. If you see a light particle, to you, it's traveling the speed of light. So it doesn't matter from all viewpoints. Light goes the same speed, and black holes, once it gets past that event horizon, it's gone.
To the person outside, though, if I'm right in saying, I think they see you differently to you. So for you, that your clocking doing a different time to them, and there's a weird.
Yes,
yours slows down the faster you go.
Interstellar, the movie Interstellar, the physics that they have for the time and the black hole on that is correct. According to modern physics, they actually put true life physics into the concept of the movie. So, yeah, the closer you get to that big mass. Yeah, and what they were described in the movie, they called it gargantua. It was a super massive black hole. That's not the same thing as a stellar black hole. If you have any kind of mass, if you compress that mass down to the Schwarzschild radius, you have a black hole. Let's say Earth. If you shrink it down to the size of a peanut, it'll turn into a black hole. You'll get an event horizon around it. But if you put it in the same place as it is now, the moon will continue to orbit like nothing happened at all. It's only whenever you get too close to it that the supergravity starts having relativistic effects. And the same with the time. If you were standing on the moon and Earth was a black hole, your clock wouldn't change. It's only whenever you get close to it that you start having these problems.
And there's even some speculation that our existence might be in a black hole. We're actually in one. We got sucked in and we're actually going down. And the reason that the universe is expanding away from us is because it's stretching as it goes away. So the further we go in, reality at the edge of the universe would be stretched further away and more dense as we go down. So there's been some speculation we're actually, a whole universe exists inside a black hole.
I was just going to say, isn't the black hole a possibility of the Big Bang?
That's why, basically what I was talking about earlier. But
I mean, everything is relative, right? I mean, we see things the way we see. If you were to tomorrow wake up as an ant, you'd see things completely different. And to you, the universe is vastly different than what we see the universe as. Right?
Yeah,
and that's the
it
thing.
comes down to perspective.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. Like it's all about perspective, right? Just like a
Mhm.
goldfish, for example, will only see whatever's in front of it. They're not going to see beyond that.
That's that idea though that you just said there. You can apply that to so many other things in and around paranormal and supernatural type ideologies, because try and, like, I don't know, let's say something goes across my room or a big shadow figure comes through or something like that right now live on this thingy, and it can't be explained, but we've seen something but we don't know what that something is. Trying to explain potentially to us with our brain power would be like trying to say to the ants outside that there's a pub next door to them. And or even that they can't even perceive that I'm there. They only see me when I place my finger near them, and then they just think it's a giant, they don't know what there's a body attached to that.
But it's just like the idea of dimension. That's actually like speaking of dimensions, because what we're really referring to dimensions, well, there's a few differences, but what we're really referring to is exactly what you're talking about, is perspective. So this is a dimension for us, okay? And then there's the subatomic dimension, and we're not aware of that. Now imagine there might be some, when it comes to higher and lower, which technically that doesn't matter in a sense, the higher or lower, because it's just coming in and coming out maybe, or expanding in and expanding out. But there might be something higher than us, as in something, it's hard to even explain this, but like above us, just like we're above the subatomic world, there might be something above us and whatever this subatomic world is, because I'm sure that we're just a subatomic particle to something else. And that's really what dimensions are. The other things that we really refer to dimensions is the multiverse. That's really what it comes into play, is when we're talking about anything that's existing on the outside of us per se. All right. So the multiverse is something that could be pockets of reality that we are existing in, doing these multiple things, or that there is something on the other side of this universe, where they have a motto, I believe, where our separate universes are actually, it's almost like a bubble, like we're in a bubble, and this is our universe, and then here's another one, and there's a theory that that's probably what the Big Bang was, eventually them pushing together, which I think Matt was explaining a little bit earlier with the expansion part. But on the other side of that, of expansion, is actually another bubble of a universe that's actually they're moving away from each, or I'm sorry, pushing together, not moving away.
Together,
yes. So this eventually happens. Oh, hey. But yeah, that's really what dimensions are when you're looking at it, is kind of where we're perceiving things, just kind of what you're talking about with looking at this. Like when we're poking at something here, they may just see a point of light or a point. Literally, you look at it's a whole hand that has a 3D, and that's really what the dimensions may be. But everything else is happening in the multiverse. That's what we're looking at.
What happens if the two dimensions are up against each other?
As far as I understand, that's
right?
a possibility of the Big Bang. Eventually, that's what will happen.
Okay, so what happens if they're together like that, and then all of a sudden something pierces them both at the same time?
Either the Big Bang, or we might, as in some sci-fi movies, we have universes merging together, and we got to stop it and form the Avengers.
Loads of Demogorgons come out, and then you need a psychic girl to blood condemn.
Yes, that's kind of
what happens.
Yes.
But could that not also account for some of the paranormal experiences, or maybe all the paranormal experiences?
Time shifts. Yeah.
Correct.
It goes beyond that, though.
Yeah.
Like they've just discovered the dark energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're like, well, we can see this. It's speeding up, but we don't know why. Dark matter. This is holding everything together. We can't see it. We can see it, but we don't know why. Well, maybe you can't find out why, because it's beyond our spectrum of what we can physically see within our three-dimensional space. That's why.
Yeah, this is where you got to be. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's a bit like all radio. Oh, go on.
We'll take numbers here.
Yeah, flip a coin. No, you go. You go.
Okay,
I'll hold it.
I was just saying that.
There you go. James has got the. He's got the flower.
He's got the talking stick.
I was just saying you got to be careful with definitions. When I use the word dimensions, I'm talking about spatial dimensions. We have 3 dimensions that we can perceive. When it comes to this universe, I mean this universe we're in. But if you're talking about multiple universes, then that would be alternate realities. So that's where I try to be careful with the defining things.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say about the frequency of radio and light. Light is just part of the electromagnetic spectrum, and it's and you've got different things. You've got radio waves down the low end of the spectrum, and you've got light and radiation at the high end of the spectrum. You've got and just like a radio can tune in, all the channels of every radio station transmitting across the planet, and depending on how close you are to them is whether you can pick them up. But you have to tune up and down the dial to get them. And what you do is you discriminate against what you don't want to pick up what you do want. But all of the rest of it is still there, being transmitted simultaneously, but you're only looking at a tiny little part of it. So maybe reality is like that as well, and it exists on a spectrum. And where different dimensions are could be higher up the spectrum or lower down the spectrum. And where we're tuned to, or where we sit, where our particles resonate or are tuned into, is this frequency. But if you were able to shift a little bit to the left or to the right, you'd start to experience another reality kind of impinging on ours. It might be other people, other versions of yourself would be in the upper or lower dimensions, that you could kind of tune in. And I think that this is possibly, where the ghost realms are.
Yes,
that there's
sir.
A higher frequency. That it's maybe a higher frequency or maybe a lower frequency, but this is how you can tune in, and this is how telepathy can work, because I've had lots of telepathic experiences, and I definitely believe that's real. And they now know that animals use the quantum realm, that we all have in our brains quantum transmitters and receivers, so we can transmit and receive. But science is kind of just touching on this now. They don't like to believe in the kind of ghost worlds, but they know that we can communicate via quantum methods. So is this how we communicate with the Akashic record, and we can get information back, which is kind of like the nature's version of the internet? We can ask a question, we get an answer. It's like Google. It's up there in the Akashic record. And we can also communicate to other humans. That's how we know when somebody's died. Like animals know when their owner they know their owners are coming home. They start to get excited when they know the owner's coming home. Parrots can read into the minds of their owners and can pull out dreams and pull out thoughts. So parrots are quite good at communicating telepathically with their owners. And now autistic children, it's been found that non-verbal autistic children have a very strong telepathic communication link with their parents. So the parent can literally sort of say in their mind, come in and make me a cup of tea, and the child will get up and come in and make a cup of tea. They communicate. And the autistic children themselves have their own kind of like internet chat room they go to. Autistic nonverbals have a place called the Hill, and they go there, and it's like a link-up area where they can have a communication with some other autistic child across the other side of the planet. And some of these children, they're nonverbal, by the way, but they can communicate. It just means they don't speak, but they can say, I know a child that's on the another part of the globe, and I'm having this communication and conversation with them, and I'd like to meet them. So the parents eventually kind of, say, well, what's the telephone number? They write it down and they ring them up and they say, have you got a child that's nonverbal autistic? Yep. My child's been talking telepathically with him. Yep. They kind of told us that, and we were expecting your call, and then they kind of fly over and the children meet in person. So any scientist who doesn't want to believe in the spirit world, they just ain't doing enough research, I would say.
Where's those facts? Have they been peer tested, or are they something which has been done outside of the science realm?
Yes, it's kind of outside of the science realm, but it's being done with people from the science realm, because there's a doctor who's done a thing called the telepathy tapes, which goes into a lot of this research. But again, what would you consider peer research? Because you can peer research until you're blue in the face, and the scientific establishment don't want to know about this stuff. So there's going to be a lot of bias involved in suppressing these sorts of things. But I mean, remote viewing works. It's used by the government.
Correct. Correct. There is a lot of scientific information. That's why well, there's many reasons besides scientific research, this personal experience. I don't believe ghosts are necessarily conscious of what they're doing. I consider them memories. And that's only because I haven't experienced anything that's considered intelligent. But I have experienced are things that are something like me tapping into something. And we have many different quantum theories that align with that, let alone scientific. All science so far, you can look it up right now. You can ask ChatGPT. It's going to tell you we have a lot of research on psychic abilities. And I just say psychic abilities because that's the best way we can explain it. There's no information, as I've been researching this since I was 16 years old. I'm 43. I have no valid information that ghosts exist. But I do have valid reasons that psychic experiences exist. And that's what we're really dealing with, is as we're putting all this together when it comes to frequencies and tapping into things. It's us channeling, just back to this. I don't think memory holds here. This thing is just like the electric generator, like the magnets that we use to generate electricity, which is basically just pulling electrons. We're using magnets to pull electrons. This is also magnetic, FYI. We're just using this tool to pull that information from whatever that is. Not what's behind me, but the collective that's all out there. That's what's really going on. And we're just perceiving things just like light. We need light in order to even perceive. And not only that, light in itself, a photon, holds information. That's what quantum computing really is. It's manipulating photons and pulling information from the photons and putting information on photons. And that's
hold on
really
a sec. I got to start up the backup generator. Hold on a second.
Oh, but that's what essentially what science is telling us right now. Just like certain experiences. Oh no, Alex!
I had a calamity.
Yeah,
tsunami warning.
How much is your camera had to drink?
Not as much as me.
Not as much as me rambling here. But that's what we're seeing. So there's a thing called a superposition. Okay, and I'm sure all you guys know what superposition is. The best way I can explain it to anyone else that's out there, if you ever played a Tiger Electronics game, all right, and you looked at the LCD that's on there, before you turn it on, there's every possible position in that game before you start making decisions to go left, right, or above. You see it sometimes. Sometimes you have to actually, it'll start up and it'll show it, or sometimes you push on the screen and you'll see it. And that's what I think theoretically is what's happening in reality. We're seeing it there, and then we see it out here. It is the best way to explain that. And so I had an experience while living in an apartment, and me and my ex-girlfriend, we were sitting there watching, I think, Scrubs or something, and we saw our standing lamp sway back and forth. All right. Me being involved in paranormal, obviously, is like questioning it. She's more spiritual, as in less scientific. I'm more spiritual and more scientific. Okay, so I have both of those coming in. So first, I was like, "What is that?" But at the same time, and Matt even mentioned before, quantum physics wasn't as popular 30 years ago. It started to be when I was reading books. It was prior to what we were seeing now, which is in almost every piece of media that we're starting to see multiverses and understanding quantum mechanics, or quantum theory, not mechanics in itself, quantum theory. But prior to that, I already assumed like maybe that was just the position that it happened. There's, for whatever reason, all the alignments of whatever geomagnetic, some other form of radiation, the moon lined up perfectly. We were in a specific month with certain frequencies going on, and we just happened to both look at this lamp at the same time too, because we're both facing different, but we happened to look at the lamp and see that it waved back and forth. How else can we explain? Yeah, you could say that maybe the people that lived there did it, or maybe since in that area I lived, there was a high Algonquin population in that specific area. Maybe it was them. I don't believe that. Okay, it's a possibility, but I don't believe that. I believe that for whatever reason, the right amount of variables came together, and for whatever reason, our intent or the fact that we looked, it's the best way I could explain it, the observer effect, if people understand. And so when I'm putting these together, these are all those theories putting together now, trying to form the observer effect, the double slit experiment, which is part of the observer effect, a light beam photons. Imagine what a camera does. What did a Polaroid camera or cameras overall have to do? They have to pull information, which is also, they're pulling electromagnetic information. It's not just light. They're pulling, and as Matt was saying too, it's also on the same frequencies as photons. But it's pulling that information and kind of bringing it together to form the picture that we see. But you need the light in order to see that. Anything that light touches is theoretically saving. It's a save state. Close your eyes. Close your eyes right now, and you can see the screen in front of you. You know, you could see a piece of it's literally, the light is literally saved in there until it starts to dissipate away. So I believe, in a sense, that the multiverse is literally what we're picking from. These the memories of, that's why I say possible past and possible futures. It's pulling from those multiple decisions in our Tiger Electronics game until we make that collapse. The collapse of the wave function. The collapse of the wave function is what we're doing. Until all those things come together, that's what we're seeing. And it just so happens that for whatever reason on these multiple variables, we just happen to pick up something from the past where this house was built on, or maybe a moment from your immediate past. And I say this because I've had certain things happen to me, and one specifically was watching the TV show Sightings. And this guy, it might have been, no, it was Sightings. This guy, he was with a psychic, and they were going through Alcatraz. He was one of the last few people that were in prison in Alcatraz. And the psychic was walking with them, and he was explaining some things. And she stops at a cell, and she starts talking about what's going on in there. And as she keeps talking, this, in her mind, of course, we're not seeing it, she starts getting a clearer picture, and she goes, wait a minute, this is you. I'm seeing you from the past. How? It's not a ghost that she's seeing. I mean, let's say that's the easiest way to explain that. It's a remnant of the past, a ghost. But she saw his past doing these movements, and he's like, that was me. That was me. What could that be? It can only be her picking up a memory, universal memory, for whatever reason, Alcatraz. You have emotional, you have all sorts of building materials. We understand now that there's a possibility with a stone tape theory. So these things could be imprinted for whatever reason onto the physical background, and then somehow we're able to pull from it whoever may be more sensitive or so. And I believe that's merely what's going on. Now, that doesn't explain every experience. That doesn't explain, of course, possibility of creatures and demons and stuff, which I don't know. I've tried to raise demons before. I've tried to talk to, I don't know. Nothing's happened. All right. Nothing's happened. All right. Maybe I just didn't do it right. Maybe I didn't spend 6 months starving myself.
You're lucky you said nothing happened, because I'll tell you right now, if you did say something happened, all of a sudden some guy named Dr. Demon Gord would pop up. No, I want to see the proof.
It could be, even if something did, it could totally be just me self-manifesting my own prophecy. which is totally possible. People do those things all the time. We make decisions subconsciously and physically that make those decisions come into play. It's totally possible. But that, even then, that's still crazy that we're able to do that. Not crazy, but it's still kind of, whoa, we're able, what? That's still just as fantastical as demons existing or ghosts existing in the romanticized perceptions that we have. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe there could be something that we create. I do feel that there's a possibility we imprint things. You guys,
the filth experiment.
Some people who have heard me talk about before, back to the collective unconscious or the shadow effect by Carl Jung. He had a theory about that. Was all the shadow creatures or shadow experiences are what's innate in us. We're just projecting that out, and that comes back to us receiving and sending out information, back to even the autistic point Matt mentioned of sending that information to another person. We're receiving and sending informations on various levels, just like the radio is collectively picking up all the possibilities of radio frequencies until we finally tune in. And that's the only way I could totally explain those experiences and anything else related to that.
What do you think about that, Mark? I know you want to say something, Mark.
Yeah, and do you know how hard that was for someone with ADHD to not go very hard?
Well, look at me right now. Blah 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 blah.
Making notes.
I've got notes. I'm coming back in here. I'm going to install a fucking jukebox and liven your stiffs up. No, sorry.
First and foremost,
that was a joke.
So there is this concept out there which some people believe in, like time dilation type ideologies, where let's say I go to said location and I go, copy me, and I bang on the walls and I throw a stone, or come on, throw that back, do that, and then nothing really happens. I go back there another night, then I hear this banging and a stone gets thrown. Some people think that's a replay of something I did before. Now, I went to a location called Woodchester Mansion.
Oh, yeah.
And I was with a team of people, and they had something. Now, I was like, oh, could they have just set this up? Yes, they could have. So this is secondhand information. They were doing a setup area, making sure it was going to be safe for people to go in there in the cathedral part, because it's quite, if you go there, you'll notice there's scaffolding and stuff. And they were setting up the area ready for later on. Anyway, with that, when we all came in and did our night there, they were doing like an EVP type thing. And when they played it back, there was sounds of them talking about the setup that they did earlier in the evening on this EVP. And that's, to me, was very odd. So to have something like that happen is very odd. Talking about the telepathic ideology as well, the other question to put out is, can we will things to happen?
Manifestation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So am I my own poltergeist by merely screaming at the air for something to happen?
In most of the near-death experiences and out-of-body experience accounts, most of them will say that what they were told, what they were taught, is that reality is thought responsive. The reality that we're in, the simulation, is incredibly dense, so it's very hard to do it. But when you're outside of it, you think of somebody, you're there. You think of a place, you go to that place. You think of a memory, and it plays in front of you like a TV. And that manifestation is really just that simple. So that kind of goes along with that.
Yeah, I got some notes. Skip through them, so people probably need to look these things up if they don't know the terms. Random number generator, just in talking about science and have scientific experiments been done. Well, one was thought up where they put a random number generator in a lab, and I think it was underground, so that the sensor that people were asked to focus on a device that they'd never seen, but it was going to be in a lab at a university underground, so it was shielded from electromagnetics, and basically in like a Faraday cage, but also underground. and they were to focus on this random number generator and try and affect it. And they showed that before the experiment started, that it was just random. There was no statistical, gathering of anything unusual. But once the experiment was started and people were asked to focus from all around the planet, intent, prayer power, if you like, thinking, I want to change the random numbers. I want to change the random numbers. And then the effect started. It was scientifically shown that there were correlations that wouldn't happen randomly. It started to happen. So scientifically, they can prove that people's thought power can affect reality.
Yep.
Something what you said, the ghosts effects, which Mark was talking about. Ghosts are being created, like I think it's Philip the ghost.
Correct. Philip, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, man.
Yeah. They created a ghost that didn't exist. They gave it a personality, a name, and what it would do around the house, the type of poltergeist things it would do and whatever. And then the ghost carried on because it had been created by these people and it didn't exist. It wasn't a real person. It was created. And now there's thought forms that I think the Indians believe in tulpas. And you can actually create a thought form, and it goes out, and it becomes a living thing. It's like a demon or a ghost, or it goes on. It has its own life. So a tulpa.
An egregor was another term for that. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it at all.
Yeah, and tulpa spelled Tulpa, by the way, if anybody wants to look that up. Yep. So there's work by Rupert Sheldrake. He's one of the only people to ever be banned. His talks were considered so heretical amongst the scientific community. And he is a scientist. He's a biologist, plant biologist by training. But he does stuff to do with telepathy and mind power. And he did the stuff with the parrot Nikisi. So you can look up his stuff with the parrot. People know when they're being looked at from behind, so they can sense. There's a sixth sense we have that we know we're being stared at, and it's probably developed because of our need to kind of know when we're being hunted. So you may not know, you may not hear the animal, smell the animal, but you'll know that something is focusing on you. It's focusing its intent on you. You pick that up and you know that you're being hunted. And similarly, animals can know that you're hunting them. They've got that sixth sense as well. So he's done work on that sort of stuff under scientific conditions, although it's considered heretical. And have a look at the only banned TED Talk, because he's talking about things science don't want you to know. Because scientists do talk about this stuff, but it has to be done secretly. So they don't call it ghostly and they don't call it, paranormal. They've got other terms they use to discuss the things that don't make sense in science, but they all have to deal with on a daily basis. One of which is, and this is well known about in science, when you create a new type of crystal form or a new chemical structure that's never been seen before, it's very hard to create it the first time. Once you've created it the first time, other people around the world can actually go away and make that substance, but it gets easier with time. It's not that people are just becoming better at the science of making it. It's that when something has never been created before, the structure, the crystallization and the structure of it, it's very hard to do it the first time. Then after that, you can tell people, and it becomes easier and easier and easier for this to form, because it's almost like the universe has kind of learned that lesson and can now manifest it quicker. So that's known about. The 100th monkey syndrome, which is animals that are kept apart on different parts of the globe. So they're not connected by landmass. If you teach a monkey a trick, monkeys on the island will start to exhibit the same trick, like they learnt it through the ether. So they're picking this up through some method, and works with birds, monkeys, all sorts of animals pick up these tricks. If you teach them a new trick, they've all learnt it. They've all become clever with a new trick. So there's a few things there to be looking into if you want to kind of look at science and what they know. And psychokinesis, I believe in it. I've experienced it. Justin, you were talking about both looking at the lamp and then it moved, and the lamp moved. Well, I actually was having a bad day at work, and when I was driving home, all my needles were in the red in the car, And then I said, oh, whoa, calm down, because I know I've got this kind of like rage mode, which is kind of what I talk about with the werewolf stuff. You know, that's my allegory. So the needles were all in the red, and I said, calm down, and then all the needles came down. And then I went home, but I still had something sort of like a little bit of charge still left up there, that like a static charge, if you want to kind of think of it in those terms, that needed to be dissipated. And I kind of focused that energy onto something, and it's almost like I willed some energy to come out, and it shattered a glass ball from one side of my garden to the other. I focused my energy on it, and it exploded. So,
wow.
You know, I think we have these powers. We just don't turn them on. We suppress them probably for our own benefits, because imagine if everybody's walking around with those sorts of powers just turned on all day long. You know, we would be doing some real kind of naughty things. I think whoever created us gave us those powers, but also turned them down, and sometimes accidentally we turn them on, and that's when we experience brief telepathy and brief powers and brief things. But I think these powers have been turned down for a reason. Because
Matt, do you think it's because of domestication?
Yeah, it could be domestication. We've been bred to kind of be dumb cattle, you know, who'll just go out and do work. And there's the wolves and the sheep, you know. So there's the predators and the prey. And you know, some people are in receipt of knowledge about things that go on in the universe a lot more than the public are allowed to know about. So.
I think it's
Jim Carrey. If you ever look into Jim Carrey, a lot, not the comedy side of stuff, but there's more later ideologies and stuff. There's a lot.
It's a spiritual journey. That's what the spiritual journey is. That's the reason why it's off. If you look at all these, you have to walk the path in order to see the truth, and that's the only way. Most people are not on a spiritual journey, whatever that may be. You know, that could even be a scientific journey, to be honest with you. But that's really, you know, like kind of what you're saying, man. It's turned off, but then you have to do something to turn it on. And I say this as someone I consider myself an armchair occultist. And I say that because I'm not into theatrics and and all those things. I have been part of those things. It's not for me. It's for other people, but it's not for me. But I can say that things working, why covens work, why prayer circles work, why all these things work is because you're taking the intent of all these people, and now you're pushing that intent onto the universe, and that is what it is. I don't have any specific belief. Even when I say an occultist, I don't believe in anything specific. I do consider myself a chaos occultist, if people are familiar with chaos magic, but that's the only way I can label that. And a favorite book of mine, which there's many out there, but I believe, and I think I gave one to Steve too, but Alex for sure, is the Libernal Encyclonaut, which was written by a mathematician. He's an occultist by a mathematician. Part of it was the Golden Dawn stuff. He kind of separated from that and so on. And he kind of explains these things in there, that it's all about the intent. And I can attest for these. I can testify, people. I can testify because I've been doing this for years now. I come from, you know, this religious background, as I mentioned before, and then I kind of separated. And then I started to experiment. And I experimented both on, you know, with hallucinogens and, you know, all sorts of things. And I can attest for all those things too. You know, that's why I know it takes. That's why I'm saying maybe I didn't do it right. Maybe I didn't starve myself enough to see demons and angels, you know, and stuff like that, because those things do come into play. I've experienced things on 2 days of taking club drugs and not sleeping. Okay, I can tell you what the mind can go through. I haven't passed the threshold of seeing shadow figures like some people have mentioned, but I can say there have been experiences, and everything that I've done now. I wish I won the lottery. I could tell you that, but you know what? That's the way the universe doesn't work like that. It's all probability. So if you take a look at certain practices, those are things are like +1s to your charisma, in a sense, +1s to your magic. That's why you get a coven involved. And these are just the extra layer onto that processing power. Let's say like that processing power, you know, just like the graphics card in this computer helps with doing video instead of relying on the CPU. These are different things that help you kind of attune to your well, your visualizations, all these things, perception. There we go. But I can attest that, and as we mentioned earlier, things were a lot harder when I first started this path. But as time went on, I don't have to do rituals anymore. I just think it, and it happens. Doesn't always happen. I mean, doesn't always happen, but the probability of it happening, because I've been doing it, and I have, I guess, some faith in those practices, it tends to come. Everything that's happening right now in my life is I willed it into existence. Yes, by a physical sense, but prior to this, and I'll say this, I didn't know where I was going to be at right now. I still don't know what my future is, and that doesn't matter, to be honest with you. But everything that's happened to me now, I willed it into existence. Even my partner, my wife, I willed her. I've literally prayed for her to exist, and it happens. I've had where I've been in a situation, and I'm like, I just hope this works out. And the exact thing I wanted happened. It happened. I didn't move it any other than thought. It happened. Now they could say it's all coincidence. I'm totally down with that. I'm totally think it's totally possible that I just got lucky. All right. But then you got to ask yourself.
Confirmation biased as well.
Correct. But then you got to say, how often is that going to happen?
Yeah.
How often is that going to happen where I've been right about something? It may not even happen now. It may be 3 years from now. And this is what I tell people when they're along this path. I will say, and I've talked to people, I'm not on that dark path that it's the left-hand path, as I remember what they call it. But I've met people who have done some dark things, and they will say the reason why they stepped away because it was getting too dark. It was getting too real in some aspects. But
we should ask Jeremy to come on.
I've experienced problems with people who get involved with the occult and people who were involved with the crop circles who got a bit maniacal because they experienced power. There's something there, and they thought that it made them very special, so that they had special power, and now they could use that. And they were kind of designing their circles to do things for them and to try and influence things through the crop circle. And I said, well, the way we do it, I'm not telling you you have to do it the way we do it, but the way I do it is we kind of say, I want the universe to tell me what to do, and I want that to be for the good of whoever and the universe, however it needs to be. I'm not saying this has to be for me because I want this to work this way.
Yes.
I'm not putting those sort of constraints on it, because I think if you do that and it goes wrong, if you're kind of trying to will things in that shouldn't be, necessarily, if they're not in balance with what's meant to be, then there could be ramifications for that. So anyway, I don't think these people had very good luck in their lives. Bad things happen to them. And I think, you've got to be with the witches and the wizards and things like that. Is white witchcraft and there's black witchcraft, and black magic. But you've got to be careful with the black magic, because if you're willing things in that aren't necessarily things that other people or, that aren't in balance,
there's a sacrifice
for the good.
There's a sacrifice to pay. A price to pay.
And like a wave, it's like the yin yang. There's light and dark. The dark side of that wave, if it comes back on you, can be quite nasty. Now, I would rather be playing with white magic and trying to be in the balance of the universe, so that there's not going to be a nasty black comeback. So remember, intent is important. And, if you go willing everything into existence, you may make it happen, but what's the payback?
Correct.
There be a payback.
Correct. Just like my one instance, I was one of the jobs I was at, I didn't have much money, and I was hungry. And I ended up going, I forget, to like a Burger King or some fast food joint. It was in Wisconsin. I remember this. And this is not the first time something like this has happened. But I'm there. I go. I order, and my card goes in, and they go, "Oh, it's declined." And I'm like, "Man, what the heck? I need to eat. I got like another 6 hours on this job. I need to get through this." Sure enough, the manager comes. He goes, "You know what? Don't worry about it. point I'm saying is, not only did I will that, because I was like, I really hope that, I kind of teased myself, this guy just gives me it.
Justin's a con artist.
with my boyish charm. The point that I'm making, though, the sacrifice in that is because no matter what, him giving me that, that number one, someone has to pay for that either way. And it was being eaten up by the management or whatever, or maybe he's allowed to give so many without it being accounted. So, I mean, no matter
what, I want confrontation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm broke. Give me my food. But most definitely there was something there on the other side of that. It didn't just give me a free food. There was a cost to that one way or another. Either they had to mark it up on their inventory, one way or another. Something failed on the other side of that, even though I got the positive of my free food. And that's just the story I was about to say for that.
But money worries. I've learned over the years that I have to get rid of the emotion connected with it, and then suddenly all sorts of money just starts popping at me.
Yep.
But if I'm worrying about it and stressing over it, I learned years ago, then I will go down a really negative hole, and it'll lead to depression. And I've learned to kind of know when you're worried about something you don't have, what you have to do is think about it, then let the emotion go. You can still hold the thought in your head, but you can't have the emotion, because if you have the emotion, you block the transfer of what you would like to happen. So you have to kind of blank the emotions and let whatever it is come. If you're stressing about something and trying to manifest it, I think you block yourself.
Yes.
It has to be blank. It has to be the intent without emotion.
Or even without doubt. That's the biggest failure to all practices, is doubt.
Yeah.
And many spiritual practices talk about that. That will throw in a monkey wrench into your
doubt your worst enemy. Yeah.
Correct.
I'm
yeah.
gonna try that with 10,000 subs. That's it. I'm gonna have to shoot off and like.
We're in this, guys. I would love to do this again. This has been a really great conversation. You're all pretty
good guys,
human beings. So we'd love to have you back on and have another round if you guys are up for it. So I want to thank everybody in chat for popping in. Some really good comments and questions and whatever else. Guys, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Until next Sunday night, we've got Richard Stanley joining us for the third time. Holy crap. Wow.
And if everybody can give some positive thought energy to Nick Pope, he's got stage 4 liver cancer. And I said, he'd already said, I've given up. And I said, well, if you've given up, you are going to kill yourself.
Never
quicker.
Never give
you
up.
don't give up. You don't give up, because we're not giving up on you. So if everybody can send some positive energy and some thoughts towards Nick, maybe some prayers, that'll be good.
Yeah, definitely. Until next Sunday night with Richard Stanley, guys, take care. We'll see you all then. Take care,
everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good one.
Stay.